Hello and welcome to the Cryptocurrency News channel. Someone pointed me this because I don't really use Reddit, but this actually has some truth in this post, and it seems like from next month onward, July, because governments are getting like the big governments, not the small ones, because El Salvador and Paraguay love Bitcoin, but the big governments seem to be a little bit afraid of cryptocurrency and how fast it's evolving, that they won't have control over it, and that they can't completely control it. So they're going to have a coordinated attack against cryptocurrencies, and they're going to restrict peer-to-peer transactions, stable coins. I mean, they already kind of have like restrictions for stable coins, private wallets, cold storage, phone, and desktop apps. Now, remember, there was legislation that was being considered that basically said, like, if an exchange receives any transaction over like $3,000 or something, that they would have to report it to the IRS. So that basically destroys a lot of the purpose of private wallets, because private wallets, you don't really have any liquidity in them, and you have to actually go to an exchange or maybe a DEX to actually cash out. And DEXs usually don't have a USD option. So to actually get liquidity and cash out to a USD option, you have to go to an exchange and boom, KYC. I think that's going to happen regardless. Of course, they're going to restrict privacy. They're going to do something about DEXs. I'm not really sure. There's legislation being tossed around. Like the thing with the Orion protocol is, I do think you're going to have to do KYC AML for that, but you might only have to do it once instead of like several times. And former ICOs and future projects. I don't know about former ICOs. Like a lot of those are just getting fined retrospectively, but future projects are definitely going to be under scrutinization. Obviously, like DeFi and NFT are going to be scrutinized as well. So basically, like they're going to force, like this is actually good. They're going to force those active in crypto to be licensed and regulated as banks. So they're going to be responsible for KYC and AML. And this is just not just from the United States. We don't even talk about China because China's just like banning it altogether. But like the US, the EU, I think all these countries, the IMF, the World Bank, BIS, everyone, they're going to allow crypto. They're not going to ban crypto. It's too big for them to ban. They can't get rid of it that way. Plus, they can make money from it anyways. But they're going to force regulate it like all the way around the world. So like they'll make it so you can't get any liquidity at all without actually doing KYC, AML, and transaction tracking. So it's going to be like just digital money that the governments can completely track. So they're going to create full transparency for all transactions. So like if you're hoping to money launder or tax evade, you can just forget it. If you're trying to hide something like black money from the government, you can just forget it. And I think they're going to try to nip the bud and try to completely squeeze out coins like Monero as well. So force inclusion of user information for all transactions. It's going to be like more of like a banking credit card type of thing, honestly. I mean, cash dollar bills has always been the best for money laundering because it's really hard to track. But essentially, like they're gonna try to do full inclusion for user information for all transactions. So you can't really have any private transactions. And if you do anything fishy, they can actually flag you. And they revoke the licenses of those that don't comply. So I do think most, if not all, exchanges will comply. They're going to try to cut off like a lot of like liquidity, like actual fiat liquidity to DEXs. I think they're just going to hamper DEXs. I do think, like I said, like Binance, like all the major exchanges will comply. Some of the smaller ones may not, but then they'll either just be geo-fenced or like banks just will refuse to work with anyone and provide them any kind of funding. And like, since this is going to be law, like they can't really challenge it in the courts. So in short, they're not going to ban crypto, like I said. They're going to change the crypto to be more like traditional finance, where they can just regulate and keep an overwatch all of it. So obviously, like a lot of you sees this as bad, but like this mentioned, like at the same time, there will be regulatory clarity in any kind of like exchange or DEX that actually does follow these rules. They'll actually pave the way for the next stage of adoption or mass adoption. So this will pave the stage for mass adoption, but it will be mass adoption in the context of them kind of being just another bank or like traditional finance option. Like it's going to be a side economy over the one we have right now, but it won't be anonymous and all that stuff that people actually want. So I guess you could look at it as a good and bad side. I think like a lot of the idealists are going to be really upset because like this stuff is almost inevitable. All these major governments are going to coordinate an attack. I don't think you're going to be able to weasel out of this one, because if you don't have liquidity from the major countries, the economic powers, your coin's really not going to be worth that much if you can't cash out into like USD, EUs, GBP, or any of those major currencies. And I think like all the world's like first world countries and probably second world countries are probably going to comply. Like if you just get liquidity from the developing world, it's really not going to be all that much. So like, and part of the reason is they don't want developing world countries to kind of like get out from under their wing. So they're going to actually restrict all of this. You see what they're actually doing to like El Salvador. They're probably going to do it to Paraguay if that bill actually passes. Also, like, why are they doing it now? Because it's just gotten really big. They've been working on this since 2017, been working on regulations for 3 years now. But they're seeing how big it's growing and they want their control over it. I'm not really sure what you can actually do about this. I guess you can write to your representative. I'm not really sure what that will actually do, honestly. But they're definitely going to plan a coordinated attack. So if they actually do this, crypto actually might dump. But I still wouldn't worry because, like, most people are law abiding citizens and the regulatory clarity will actually help a lot of projects and will actually help a lot of cryptos. But they are going, like, everything will actually be KYC AML. Even your private wallet, when you want to transact to actually cash out, will be KYC AML too. So crypto, I believe in the future, will become an extension of the traditional finance sector. But those of us that get in early, I do think the price is going to like blow up still and we can still make a lot of money from it. You just won't be able to escape from taxes or port your money elsewhere without being noticed. So I do think there might be a dump because of this FUD, and they're creating a lot of this right now because they want to restrict Bitcoin's price from going up too much in this time period. That's what I'm guessing. That's like there's like Elon Musk. I think Elon Musk is off by himself, but like the Chinese use everything. I do think there's a global coordinated attack on cryptocurrencies to maintain the power of those that are actually in power. So let me know what you think, like and subscribe, and hit that bell notifications button. Thank you and have a nice day.